And so I have the workshops, and the workshops are available directly to the consumer, to you. But to be honest, the majority of the workshops that I've sold have been to institutions. So I have worked with school districts, with family engagement centers, resource centers, nonprofit organizations, universities that have programs for parents.
You are listening to the Daily Talks podcast where my mom, Dali, empowers parents like you with parenting tips. My mom's mission is to help parents make their child raising experience easier and more enjoyable by sharing valuable lessons to save them unnecessary struggles. The Daily Talks podcast is for any person already parenting or planning on parenting a child. Each week you'll hear different experts talk with my mom about important aspects of parenting, self-care, and of course our specialized area of bullying awareness and prevention. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, go ahead and do so now wherever you may be listening. And don't forget to set up your alerts so that you don't miss any episodes. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Dali Talks podcast. I want to talk to you today about my book, Confident Bully Proof Kids. I realize that I have not really spoken about it. I'm terrible with promoting myself and the things that I do. And I've done a lot. Look, today I was thinking about this, and somebody very close to me was reminding me that I need to speak more about this stuff that I've done. So I was going over what I have to offer. And here's the list, right? The podcast, of course, that you're listening to right now. I have a blog, dalitalks.com/blog. I have Instagram videos. I'm on Instagram at Dali Talks. I have the YouTube videos, which is pretty much the podcast, but on video. And I know that if you're listening on a podcasting platform right now, you probably do have access to the video, because that's a new thing that I guess all podcasting platforms are doing. They're adding that feature on there because apparently people love looking at the speaker. And then I have, of course, Confident Bully Proof Kids, the book right here. But I also have the very first book that I published myself, Your Guide to Bullying Prevention. And so I want to talk a little bit about, I'm going to talk in a few minutes about the difference between both books. I also have workshops. I have one on the website right now on dalitalks.com/store for $197. And so that's available. But I have so many others that I have not put on the cart there on the shopping list or the store, mainly because of time constraints. I have a virtual assistant, but she does mainly the editing of the podcast, and she's amazing at it. I really should give her more responsibilities, but to be honest, as a business owner, sometimes you have these emotions of overwhelm, and there's so many things that you have to get done that you don't know where to begin. So the way that I choose that is by going for what's going to make me the most money, because I've got to fund this, right? None of this is free. Like, I have to pay my virtual assistant, I have to pay for the website, I have to pay for printing, all of that. But anyway, and so I have the workshops, and the workshops are available directly to the consumer, to you. But to be honest, the majority of the workshops that I've sold have been to institutions. So I have worked with school districts, with family engagement centers, resource centers, nonprofit organizations, universities that have programs for parents, small business development centers. They've hired me for workshops on bullying. So I have spoken about bullying in the workforce and bullying at schools, bullying, like within even among families. I also offer consultation services, and I love doing those. They're usually one-on-one. They're an hour. Usually, people, when they come to me, they have tried so many things with the school district that they feel like they're stuck. So that's when they come to me, get more guidance, and I'm so happy that I have been able so far to help every single person that has reached out to me. And it's usually because they don't really know where to go, or that there are other options aside from going directly to the school district in order to get the solutions that they need for their child. So yeah, the consultations, and I think that's it for now. Oh, keynote speaking. That's the latest thing that I've added to my list. I love doing it. I am seeing more offers or requests, I mean, to speak at business events. I have spoken at events where the audiences are mostly educators and parents, but now I'm seeing a shift where I'm being requested for small business owners, conferences and things like that. And I love it. I love it, which is actually something that I am kind of, dipping my toes into. Began pretty much testing out my business coaching skills last year through an organization called Blue Star Families. So if you know a little bit about me, I am a military veteran. I served in the military, in the Army for 10 years. And I love still having a connection with the military community. So I volunteered with Blue Star Families really because my friend asked me, and she was like, "Hey, I need somebody last minute." But then it became a thing and I took on some mentees. I discovered that I'm really good at helping people move forward. I think, in my opinion, that I help people reach their goals faster than I reach my own. It's always hard to look within, but it's so easy when you look at somebody else's challenge and you're like, oh yeah, this is how you do it, and blah blah blah, and then boom, get it done. And then I'm pretty good with helping people stay accountable to what they say they're gonna do. So that's something that I will be probably talking more about. But anyway, enough about that. Just giving you a recap about the different type of services that I offer. But now I want to talk to you about the two books. So again, I said I have Your Guide to Bullying Prevention, and Confident Bully Proof Kids. So I call it CBPK. So CBPK became a project of love with my dear friend Amy Joy. She is Canadian. She lives in Alberta, and she is a teacher specialized in special education. And she's very creative, amazing, high energy. So she pretty much was the one that proposed we write a book together. And it just felt right. And we came up with this 5-chapter book. So chapter 1 is understanding bullying, because you got to go back to the basics, right? A lot of people really misunderstand what bullying is. Chapter 2 is bully proofing your kid, how not to bully. And we give a lot of examples. There's some images. It's not in color, but we got a few images in there. We definitely made sure that we made sure to have examples and activities. So this is a workbook. Actually, both of my books are workbooks because we are all about action. I have always said to my audiences, you have to role model and you have to put things into action. So if I give you an example in here, like a role play scenario, um, and you have small kids, do it with the small kids. Make it a fun activity, either a family activity, or if you're a teacher, an activity in the classroom, because little kids are most likely to partake in stuff like this, whereas the older ones are going to be like, no, that's not cool. I'm too old. So while all of this information is very, very valuable for a parent that has a child of any age, the younger kids are the ones that are going to be more willing to do the exercises with you. I would say middle school is probably where you're going to see the hesitation or the eye rolling. I'm sure you've already experienced that if you have some. But again, the practices are there. The 5 chapters. So the 3rd chapter is bully-proofing your kids standing up to bullying. So those are examples. And then we give you keywords. And the keywords were intentionally put in there because I think it's important for children to know these keywords, especially words like a power voice. What is a power voice, when speaking about bullying? Or an acquaintance. What is an acquaintance and what is a friend? There's a whole section on that. We have end of chapter reflections. Okay, and chapter 4 is how to support your child when they say that they're being bullied. That's a big one. And that's something that I get all the time because parents sometimes feel very taken aback when their child says, hey, I've been bullied, and I don't know where to begin. In chapter 5 is building the solutions with your child's school. And I think that's one of the most valuable, that doesn't really involve the kid as much. And that one, we could have gone a lot deeper into it, but I have an entire course on advocacy, with the school. But in this book, you'll have enough to get an idea of what to do. Now, like I said, this book has a lot of activities, it has like fill in the blanks and things like that. So this book is filled with a lot of great information, a lot of keywords that I feel like your children should know or that it could help them, at least to describe what's happening to them. And we describe like the types of bullying behaviors, type of bullies. We describe passive, assertive, and aggressive, what those things are and what that looks like. We talk about your brain on stress, and this ties into social emotional learning, which is extremely important in order to help children learn how to manage any type of conflict. Okay, so then I have that's CBPK, or Confident Bully Proof Kids. And then your guide to bullying prevention. This book is a lot smaller. Let me see. CBPK has, let's see how many pages, 75 pages. And in the very back, we have a list of further readings and films, as well as books and articles. And we also include websites as resources. Now, your guide to bullying prevention, this one is a lot more colorful. So it is a lot more colorful. Look, it's more kid friendly. So when I created this book, I had it in mind. What I pictured was a parent sitting down with their child going through the book. And so I have activities that are a little more, playful for the kids. Again, I do vocabulary words. I have a template on how to fill out a bullying incident report. We go over teasing clues, bullying fact sheets, just stuff. Again, we'll start with the basics. So this one, yeah, is a lot more playful. And it has, let me see, 8 sections or chapters, I guess you can call it. We talk about how to get started, with the book, how to use it to your advantage. The importance of embracing and diversity, which is one of the contributing factors of bullying, right? When people don't really understand others and then they use their differences against them or as a justification to bully them. Talk about the types of bullying, the signs of bullying, reporting bullying, how to help your child, and all the cheat sheets or activity sheets. It also includes recommended readings for kids of different age. I divided them by elementary age, middle school age, and for parents. I didn't even bother to add a list of books for high schoolers because I know that realistically high schoolers are not going to be reading this. And also parents will probably be able to find material a lot easier for them, like TV shows and stuff like that, where they can probably see examples of bullying and have a conversation about it if they want to. But again, I know that the demographic that's really going to be purchasing these books are those of you parents who have kids between K through 8th grade. And I think 8th grade is pushing it. But anyway, so this book, the Your Guide to Bullying Prevention, that book is available right now only on my website at dollytalks.com/store. And CBPK is available on Amazon. The goal before the end of the year is to have CBPK published in Spanish. I'm almost done, but let me tell you, it is grueling to go through everything and make sure that I use the right word because our Spanish dialects can be so different. So I have to make sure that I'm using the one that's as general as possible so that everybody can understand. And then your guide to bullying prevention is already available on my website in English and in Spanish. So those are 2 great resources. And one of the things I'd like to ask you to do is that if you are interested in, if you happen to be a PTA leader or the PTA president at your child's school, or if you happen to be an educator, and if you're interested in having multiple copies of either of these books, I would be more than happy to work something out here to make sure that you can provide this to your parent community, because there are a lot of resources out there for the children, but I still don't see enough information or workshops or resources for the parents that go into great detail the way that mine does. The majority of the times, the information that is put out for parents is very general. I want you to know how much you need to know and how helpful it can be. And I want you to also keep in mind that when you are informed and your children know that you're very informed, they will feel a lot more confident in coming to you and asking for help. Because a lot of kids, they will keep it to themselves because they think they can handle it. And then when they just lose control, that is when the parent finds out that something's going on. If you do buy a book, please leave a review or send me an email. I really, really want to be able to provide the best information possible. I do realize that one of the things that I don't talk about a lot in the book is what to do when your child is the one exhibiting those bullying behaviors. So I think I'm going to be writing a book just on that. There is some information in these books about that, but I want to kind of expand on that because that's been one of the topics or one of the questions that has been coming up consistently lately. I hope that you like this episode. Please let me know in the comments what you think about the books, if you have any questions about them, and don't forget to share this episode with at least one person. That would help me tremendously. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hey, did you like that episode? If you did, be sure to subscribe to this podcast wherever you may be listening and write a review. If you want more tips or some behind-the-scenes videos, make sure to follow my mom at Dally Talks on Instagram. You can turn on notifications for her posts and stories as well. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. See you next time.